Okay, this is Officer X. I want to say to you today that the situation in Ferguson, Missouri is at a point now where it seems as though they may be trying to imply that the young man was actually guilty in some way and did something to deserve being shot 6 times. The subject is Michael Brown. Now, they released the name of the officer that did the shooting, Darren D. Wilson. Darren D. Wilson. Now, let me say this. Let's be clear. I am a retired cop from that very same region, 22 years. And I want you to know this. Even if this young man had been a suspect for a murder, the fact that he was unarmed and not a threat to that police officer did not justify the shooting, in my opinion. This is why we have tasers. Now, this is not a thing where the discretion was there to use deadly force when other levels of force were available and also would have been more appropriate to the situation. That is the very core of this investigation, in my opinion. The level of force used was totally unnecessary and once used, was used in excess. Now, that's my view on this as a 22-year police officer retired from that region. I want to also say this. I have not just begun to be outspoken about injustice in law enforcement. In 1993, St. Louis American wrote up a major article in which I declared that there was racism in one of the biggest departments out there in Berkeley, wherein I was one of only 3 black officers. This has been my legacy, to speak the truth. As I speak about the truth, I want you to also know, I am not an anti-police person. I think law enforcement is one of the most wonderful careers that exist, that many of the officers will never get their due diligence for the sacrifice that they make and the risk that they take in order to keep the public safe. And without them, your country wouldn't be worth a dime. Having said that, I want to also say this. I want to see my profession made better. I want to see the racism, the sexism, the injustice, and the use of the chain of command to choke out those who would otherwise give information that could help the department. Many of these cities are getting hit by many civil lawsuits which are totally unnecessary. Your tax dollars are being used to defend police actions from just a few, and these few rampantly get away with the same mess over and over and over again. This needs to stop. You need to have a civilian oversight committee that's not anti-police and not pro-police, just neutral enough to hear it and to make actions and have the power to terminate if necessary. This must be done throughout the whole United States. Now let me say this also. We in the Midwest here are capable of getting a ripple effect throughout the country if we come up with something that'll work. I know what will work with these departments. These officers are placed and kept and maintained by a structure that knows full well what they do on a daily basis. We have only touched the tip of the iceberg. You have no clue how many times these things happen in that same region and throughout the United States, and they never get reported. A woman that I know whose daughter was killed in a car accident was in that same region, done very poorly, and the case was later dropped. But after she left her daughter, they left her daughter in the car and called the nigger, threw on the car unnecessarily. She went through all the trauma for nothing. But there was no repercussion to the police officers, and there could be given by officers thousands or more reports. You must protect these honest officers who try and who are willing to come forward. But now there is no protection for them. I want to say this to you. Recently, I'm a part of one of the largest organizations of police around the world. Most of the active cops are in it, and I won't call the name. Just this week, an article was placed in there, and it said this. You may, as an officer, want to report police corruption, and it would be the honorable thing to do. But it may be one of the most dangerous and worst things that you'll ever do in your career. And that was issued in our circulation just this August 2014. So you must protect these police officers who come to the forefront. You cannot allow them to be subject to the kind of stuff that I and many of the few others who have done this, where it's been subjected to over and over and over again, to the point where they cannot deal with or function at all and have many issues as a result. Protect those officers, and you're protecting yourself. Give them a voice that is protected. You owe it to them to do so, and you'll be shocked at the truth that they will give to you. The government, the federal government is doing it. You must do it for state and local police officers. Now, I got to say this to you also. We, as black people, we get placated too often. The public has been doing a good job of staying out of trouble. We get placated with the motions that they go through of implying that justice will be at the end, when sometimes it isn't, and then you're angry because you waited so long for that day of justice. I have a solution for this: a total economic boycott of any area, including now Ferguson. Boycott every single solitary business until justice has been served. I say this and I mean this because I see and I know how many times you get placated and you're angry. I'm saying this for the benefit of Ferguson, because if they pull a stunt and they let this man go like George Zimmerman did, it's going to cause probably violence like you've never seen in this region before. But if you have an outlet where you know you're affecting something and you're hurting a system that you feel has hurt you in a peaceful way, there can be a mediation to this situation. I say now, I call for you to say no justice, no money. No justice, no spending of your dollar. No justice, no money. So let me also conclude with this. We're going to have to do like some of the people have done in the past who've had injustice done to them, such as the Jews. They're still making people pay for the wrong that was done. This flaw in our character as black people has got to change. It's not that all white people are the ones that are doing the wrong, because in this area in St. Louis County, in the municipalities, you and as well as I know, black officers do you as black people far more wrong than the white officers. And this is a fact. This is a fact. There are many good ones, so let's keep it balanced. There are many good on both sides, but this core element of evil and wicked ones has to be stopped. I'm going to get ready and close with this. As I look at my notations here, you've got to do something to feel that you're making a change. And an economic boycott would do just that. And we're going to have to realize that an oversight committee of the police officers is the only way to ensure that we're going to have control. And you also must, again I say, protect those officers who would tell you the truth. But right now, they'll only get scavenged, destroyed, humiliated, and ignored if you don't protect them so that they can speak.